Hello, Guild Laramie here. This September news video is going to be a little different than the others because I'm going to start out with a story. The story goes something like this. I was sitting down last week to prepare this video that I'm making right now, and I plotted out all of my talking points. My list of talking points looks something like number 1, come on guys, show up to events. Number 2, I can't do this alone guys, let's be a team. And by the time I hit number 3, I was so distraught that I didn't know how to continue. I looked at my boyfriend, Cho Shin, and I said, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm giving everything I've got. And about 2 days later, I kicked someone from the guild for bailing on their responsibilities to their campaign. I also had a campaign leader step down from campaign leadership a day or two ago. And we lost a handful more of players who didn't care to participate anyway. So the roster looks as it does now. And, I'm looking at my guild and our group, and I'm saying to myself, this is failing and I can't let it fail. I'm not going to let it fail. So what I did was I looked into leadership courses. I took a look at what successful people were doing, not just successful guild leaders, but successful corporate leaders, bosses. I looked into business to figure out what I needed to do. And I came across a talk by Simon Sinek, and after watching about 20 minutes, I knew exactly what I had to do. So I scrapped all of my talking points and I started a new Word document to share with you what I'm about to tell you. As guild members, many of you stay because I believe something is telling you that I mean well. But one of my greatest failings as a leader is not clearly communicating to you the why of what we're doing. And in Simon Sinek's talk, he mentioned a lot of very interesting things, and I'll link the talk for you. But at the heart of his talk was one theme. You don't sell the what you do, you sell the why you do it. And in this case, the guild offers a service, and there isn't any money to be made in the conventional sense. But there is a what involved, a product. I could try to sell you the fact that we have a guild bank, that we have heirlooms, that we have a calendar. But that 12-point plan, my full calendar, it has events, but it's essentially empty, So how does that happen? Because in truth, no one in the guild but me clearly understands the why. Even if you understand that I have good intentions. And he mentioned this. Dr. Martin Luther King rallied thousands of people together to talk about a dream with, no invitations to send out and no email reminders. People just showed up. And they showed up to hear, about his dream. Not even so much a plan, but a dream, So he was selling the why. And people that came to hear him speak were driven by this sense of conviction and resonance that they created the means necessary to get the word out. They believed in it. So when I'm sending out invitations and I'm making tools available to you and no one's showing up, it's because nobody understands or believes in the why. So as the subject of this video, I'm gonna give that to you, and it will be forevermore the driving message behind what we do. The internet has become a toxic vehicle for two of the most important things in the world, in my opinion: access to education and human connection. So imagine what we could do if we removed toxicity from our little corner of the internet community and all that was left was human connection and education. When I set out to create this guild, I wanted to provide people with a place where they felt they were accepted and they belonged, and they could RP in a way that made them feel comfortable. And I wanted them to be able to learn and not feel threatened by learning. I wanted to give people access to education and an outlet to make friends. It's what I needed, and truly I think it's what many people need. The people who are staying in this guild have told me, in essence, that they stay for the community and the sense of belonging, and that is the why. And at first I thought if people could just participate and show up, they could see the why. They could see the message, that it would be obvious. But I realized that I was not pushing that message from the inside out. You can't make people take the product first and then make them believe in it. That's going to work for some people, but for most people, they have to believe in it. And I think all of us can get behind promoting community and especially community education, free education. I think even some of those who have left us could have gotten behind it if it was, presented to them as a mantra. So my next set of goals over the next 2 months is to rework the website and how we market ourselves as a guild to reflect what it is that we believe in. The focal point of all that we do is going to be, bettering the RP community for all servers and providing free community education. From now on, every single member should know that we are the Court of Obsidian, a center for bettering the RP community, for sharing free community education. It doesn't matter what our in-character goals are. We could be a group of noodle cart peddlers, and as long as our why resonates with people, we're going to be successful. And it seems really idealistic to say, but the numbers are there to show that, this is the method for success. And if you look into things like the law of diffusion of innovation, you can see that there are numbers to support this, and it isn't just crazy talk that sounds nice. And I also feel that you need to know why this is important to me as a person. Why would a girl in Florida put, all of this effort in when there's so many guilds on Moonguard? Why start taking marketing classes or, learning coding or design? Why do all of that? As a little girl, I was very sheltered. I went to an Amish school for about 10 years, and the school taught us using a private curriculum, and in the end, I ended up with a diploma that couldn't be used to get into a university. And that curriculum is under a lot of scrutiny now, especially in the UK. But the point is I spent many of my formative years with a barrier, put up to education, and the introduction of the internet gifted me with two things: the ability to learn and the freedom to learn. And anything that I wanted to learn was on the internet, and it was free. And that was becoming true more and more all the time. And what kept me coming back to the internet every day was video games, text-based RPGs at the time. And I was role-playing all the time, every single day. I lived for it. And all the while I was researching things that I wasn't allowed to learn in school. And my family was very, very poor. We had a 5-gallon bucket for a toilet for a few years at one point, and literally lived from a Lincoln Continental in a ditch. But even with a real diploma, college wasn't an option for me. So, discovering things like Wikipedia for free, that changed my life. When I was a little girl, I wanted to do nothing more than be a novelist. I was a melancholy, bleeding heart creative at 7, and all I wanted to do was write the best fantasy novel since Tolkien. And I had no information about it. You didn't talk about mythology and creative writing or anything that might suggest that a person could make up anything they wanted and put it into a book and sell it as the truth. So everything I learned in secret. And as I grew up and moved into a more conventional education, or as close to one as I could get, there was a lot of talk about how writing would never make me any money in this economy, and I needed to be a teacher instead. But I went from being a poor kid to a poor adult, and I stashed quarters and dollar bills away, and I saved for secondhand books and beat up old copies of things like Building Believable Characters. And after I read my first book on writing, I vowed that I was going to take what I knew and share it with people who weren't able to have it or were too poor to have it. And I love WoW. I've been playing since vanilla, and the RP community is such a wonderful outlet for fiction and creative persons. And it hit me that I could take what I knew and share it with people for free. It was just words, right? And RPers read paragraphs all the time, so what if I could not only provide a great place to RP, but eventually teach them what I knew? So I started with the product, the what, and I mentioned nothing about the aspect of community education, went straight for marketing my guild as another RP guild. And no one was staying long enough to believe in my vision. But now here it is, and I'm about to change the face of this guild for the better, to more accurately represent what I believe in. So as I change the website and rearrange things, it might appear as if I'm disbanding the guild, but that's not at all the case. I'm instead trying to make it better. I'm not going to let it fail. I think that it's too important. But for those of you that want to leave and you don't like the changes, so be it. I'm giving you an out because, what we really need are people who believe in the why. And I can tell you from experience, if you don't, nothing's going to come of this. You're not going to be able to provide anything to anyone. You're not going to be able to get the best experience from this guild. My first plan of action I've already put into motion. It still needs a little editing, but I've drawn up a campaign for Novel Writing 101. And you'll be able to RP as a student in a school and learn the basics of how to write a first novel. The RP school will turn out guild newsletters, magazine issues with content written by members, just just like e-versions, e-books, so to speak. I'm going to host this campaign on the weekends and make it as strong as possible before even considering other campaigns. No one was showing up to the other campaigns, and if they were, just not in consistent numbers, and RP leadership members were dropping the ball. So I'm going to focus on this and move on from there. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll do my best to address them. This period's really going to weed out the people who don't share the vision, and they're simply here to have everything handed to them. But I really want to thank everyone who's staying around and making this guild a wonderful place to be. You guys are the spirit of this guild. You're part of the why, and it means very much to me to be able to work with you and hang out with you guys. So let's go out into Moonguard and really show people how positive we are and how much we care about a non-toxic environment, and show them how much we care about sharing what we know and what we love. I'll talk to you guys next time.